Welcome to another week of Unity TV. Hey, it's your boy Darius. I got a special guest with me this week. My good friend, best friend, Shane Williams. The 14th. No, I'm playing with y'all. Hey guys, we are in the topic of boys want, men need. All right, we want to talk about that. Guys, if y'all are just tuning in, one thing we always recommend is to subscribe, comment, like, and share, and tell other people about it. Appreciate you coming, man.
Appreciate you having me.
I really do, man. And I know, like I said, the dialogue gonna be juicy. Literally, we talk every day about stuff like this, so it's gonna be very authentic and real and to the point.
Yeah.
But the concept, man, boys want, men need. All right. I keep saying men's and women's, like they do, but
right.
men need that whole concept, man, about just maturing, and because you and Siobhan, y'all been married, what? It'll be 9 years soon.
Tomorrow.
Oh, look at that! Ain't that something?
Tomorrow.
That's
9 years. Yep.
All right. So, but y'all been together since how old were you when you first met Siobhan?
When I first met her, it was whatever age I was in 6th grade. So that was a little minute ago.
6th grade. So you had to be about not even a teenager, right? Wait, I don't know.
Yeah, 10 probably, somewhere around there.
Okay, so obviously you was
a long time.
Yeah, you was definitely a boy. So, man, then this whole segment, Shane, is based off the topic, or the scripture rather, when Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians that when I was a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child, but now that I'm a man, I put childish things behind me.
Right.
That's where this whole concept and the idea came about. And the first thing I want to talk to you about, man, is just maturity. All right. So they say women mature faster than men. I'm sure you heard that before.
Yep, absolutely.
Question is, do you think that's true? And if so, why do you think that's true?
I don't necessarily think it's 100% true. I do think there's certain things that women grow into maybe faster, maybe sometimes maybe a physical part that we can obviously all see.
Right.
But I don't know. It just depends on if it's a mindset, if it's a physical aspect. I mean, I guess it'd have to be more specific on that. But I do think, back then to where things are now, it was a totally different as far as like physicality. Like I have a niece, she is literally 15 years old and she's 6'1".
That's
crazy. And I've never, when I was young, I'd never seen anything like that. So physicality, yes, I do, but mentality, I don't think so, because I mean, you are the environment that you kind of hang around. So I really think if you got mature parents that kind of handle themselves a certain way, then I think you also have no choice, kind of, just to kind of go down that same path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
no, that makes sense, because I was about to bring that up. Boys mature faster. No, women mature faster than girls, more than boys, because of the upbringing. I think that's a big factor, because a lot of times when you think about single parent households, a lot of times it's not a single dad that's raising the kids. Sometimes it is. Kudos to the guys, but sometimes, most of the time, it's a single mom that's raising all the kids.
Very true.
So if you got a mom raising a boy, then it's going to be very, very, it's common for a boy to mature late as a man, because you got a woman trying to teach him how to become a man. My thing was always thinking about status, okay? I needed to make sure, we didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. I don't know about you, but we got $20 a month. And I used to stretch my 20, get my hair cut, buy my little whatever I could afford at the Orange Beauty Supply, my little white t-shirts.
Yeah.
But so I was always so focused on status. But now that I'm a grown man, one of the main things I always focus on is impact and relevancy and generational. All right. So obviously you got a son, Cam. Being that you are a man now, how important is it also as a husband and a dad to shift your mindset to think more generational rather than I gotta have this car, I gotta have this shirt for my feel good, rather than I need to be thinking about the long term gain. Right. How important is that as a dad and a husband?
Oh yeah, it's extremely important because at the end of the day, maturity kind of involves around two aspects: is either you're gonna be selfish or you're gonna be unselfish. And being that selfish type person that we obviously have to kind of grow out of. That's really, really huge. So the importance on that, man, is massive. There's a lot of transitions that you kind of got to go through it, whether it be spiritually, whether it be just, inside basically looking at yourself, at your heart, how you think, how you act, how you react. It's huge, man. Cause if you I know we've all seen people that, that's made those terrible decisions and stuff like that, but they can kind of change. We can kind of grow. And that kind of brings me back to upbringing also. I mean, I've had a great upbringing, and I've seen my parents do certain things and talk to me a certain way and do stuff like that. But I've also seen the negative aspect to where these kids, they don't grow in that type of loving and edifying environment. So at the end of the day, when you grow up, you can kind of see things in a good way or a bad way. But at the end of the day, as you get older, as we start to mature, that's all on us. You know what I'm saying? So I really, really think that's huge. I don't know if that kind of answered your question.
No, that did, man. Yeah. Like I say, I don't know who I heard this from, and it said something about great leadership is generational.
Oh, definitely. Great
leadership is just so somebody say I'm a leader, but God forbid they pass away, and everything they built, everything they fought for, everything they taught on ceases and nothing carries on.
Right.
And that person probably wasn't a leader.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you would agree. So,
absolutely.
Like I said, Cam, man, I see Cam all the time, and obviously, if you were operating day in and day out as a childish boy and not developing your son or putting things inside of him, putting seeds in him that he could take away whenever you're going, then obviously, would you agree you probably didn't do a good job as far as being your son? Yeah,
you definitely dropped the ball. And I think that's probably, if we all lived our lives, kept that kind of consciously, on a daily basis, that's a revelation to me, even you asking that question right now, so that's why I appreciate it. Right. Is that if we all operated with that type of intention, imagine the type of the love and the intention of us. I was about to say intentionality. I don't know if that's a word. Yeah, it's a word. It's a good word.
Google it, put it right on the screen.
Intentionality.
Young kid from early on, we're taught not to be vulnerable.
True.
But that's switching over to marriage. All right, so. If we walk around day in and day out, and let's say our spouse, our kids, our job, or whatever, gets us to a point where it hurts us, Of course, we are men, things like that, but we're also a human being. We're men, and we're gonna feel things as well.
Of course.
How important is it to be vulnerable, but also how do you make that shift? From being, cause I'm sure you heard toughen up as a boy. You played football at McNeese and all this other stuff. So for the most part, how do you make that shift to say, you know what, it's okay for me to show my feelings to my family. It's okay for me to be that way. And how important is it to be vulnerable in marriage, in relationships and stuff like that?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. Because that brings me back to kind of upbringing too. I never really, you said make that shift. I've never had to kind of make that shift. I've seen my dad be open to us and talk to us about everything, talk to me about everything.
Right.
There was there's a certain situation where I did some stuff I wasn't supposed to do when I was younger. And I got caught, of course.
That's
kids, fun. I know kids probably watching this, but we all get caught. We definitely do. And I just knew I was about to get the business, I'll just say that.
Right.
And he didn't. He didn't handle it that way where I could have got a butt whipping or whatever, but he leveled with me and was basically saying, hey, don't, and it was all over a girl, of course. But anyway, the teaching was there, but it just made a big difference still to this day, how he basically leveled with me and he talked to me, and I think just that aspect of being vulnerable. I was in a vulnerable state. He could have overreacted, but he talked to me. And so I don't know. I've always had that. I never really had to, I guess you say, switch it. Now, there are features to where I do do more as far as toughness, but there's also times I'm extremely vulnerable. There's some things that that has happened, I say here recently, where I have to be extremely vulnerable, because at the end of the day, it still revolves around those two aspects. Are you being selfish? Is it just about you? Is it just about everybody, that situation looking at you, or is it about that other person and teaching and coaching and growing? Because if you always have that mindset, I mean, you're always going to be vulnerable. You should be vulnerable.
That's good though, man, because I never thought about the concept of toughing it up or being a man and not showing your feelings is a sign of being selfish. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Now, you don't want to be, what's the word? You don't want to be one of them guys that dump everything on everybody every time.
Yeah, no.
So it got to be a perfect time and a place to share those feelings with your spouse. And like you said, I'm so happy that your dad was able to show that to you.
Yeah.
I didn't have that growing up, so I always had a tough exterior.
Right.
And I kept a lot of things in. So what that did for me as an adult, young adult, and I struggled with depression in the beginning because I didn't know how to release my feelings. I never had no one that modeled that. So we talked about upbringing so many times, man, in this last little, I don't know how many minutes we've been doing it, but we've been talking about upbringing, just the importance of mom and dad being in somebody's life, right? The importance of boy transforming to a man, woman girl transforming to a woman, and coming together and actually leading a family, because that's going to go into vulnerability. That's going to go into the concept of what the first thing, maturity. All of that comes into play with us first, evolving into the man and woman of God that we're supposed to be. And I actually wrote on here without proper instruction, but like your dad was the proper instruction on how to be vulnerable. So this kind of leads to my last question. So obviously our Heavenly Father is the ultimate instructor in everything in life, right? So it says, how is it important for men to be led by our Heavenly Father? Because like I said, I didn't have the proper instruction.
Right.
I'm going to be honest with you. I learned how to be vulnerable. I learned how to communicate. I learned how to love my wife. I learned how to do all that through the Word, through the Heavenly Father giving me certain things.
Yeah.
But how important is it for a boy, or a man rather, to follow under some leadership of the Heavenly Father so they can actually learn how to, basically how to transform into the man that God intended them to be?
Yeah. How important is it, man? It's extremely important. Just kind of growing up, you can kind of see life kind of unfold, in certain ways, and just following. I mean, think about it. Just like you said, he's the ultimate planner. Right. If he's the ultimate in everything, why wouldn't you want the best? It's not. It's just like my son. Him saying, Daddy, because he likes sports, he likes soccer, he likes baseball, all kind of stuff too. So imagine that'd be just like me saying, You don't need to be coached, say, under a Nick Saban, or rather than his coach that's just basically a Pee-wee coach. Not giving anything to Pee-wee coaches, but it's a big difference. Right. It's a certain mindset, a certain standard, if you will. And I think that standard has to be portrayed. We have to follow that, because at the end of the day, you're going to be headed down the right direction or the wrong direction. And I already know, I'd rather be headed down that right path for sure. So that correction and that direction is definitely huge. So
cool. Yeah, absolutely, man. So guys, we want y'all feedback. I'm sure we got some ladies watching this too, but one thing that we recommend for the ladies that are watching, if you have a spouse, a fiance, a boyfriend, or whatever, send this to them. I mean, there's some things that we're talking about as men. One thing that you don't see a whole lot of is men edifying men a lot. And one of the things that what that does is it strips away from the focus on the family whenever you take the man out of the picture. And that's one thing that we're intending to do this month, is to talk about the importance of manhood and how to transform your mindset from a child or boy to a man, especially in marriage, especially in parenthood. We're not parents yet, but we have a lot of friends that are, and we see them from afar, we see them up close, how they actually coach and mentor their family. And it's very important, like I say, to step out of the childish mentality and to develop some maturity in order to lead, and like I say, lead generationally for sure. So, hey guys, I know we talked about this a lot, but Stretch 20, we're not going to release the date yet. This is actually one of the speakers right here, Mr. Shane Williams. He's going to be there, and his lovely wife. You definitely want to be there. Again, if you thought this was beneficial, go ahead and like, comment, share. Before we get out of here, Shane, you have any closing remarks or anything at all you want to give somebody?
Just stay encouraged, stay around the right environment, around the right people. At the end of the day, it's all about direction. So if you're headed down that right direction, you're never going to go down a path that you don't want to go. So kind of always have that, and that's it. That's
right. Awesome. And you can get in touch with Shane on, you on Instagram? You don't have Instagram, right?
I do, but it's not.
Never on it. All right.
Never on it.
All right. So what Facebook is it? Shane Williams?
Yeah, it's Shane Williams or Shane Will or something like that. I think it's Shane Will, but
yeah. So I'm gonna tag him in the post, boy. So if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and follow Shane. Get in touch with Shane. YouTube, I'll put his hand up if y'all want to ask him any particular questions about anything at all. Yeah. Hey guys, thank y'all for plugging in. Y'all stay tuned for next week. We really appreciate you guys. Have a great day.